Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up. Again, you've just caught me just having a bit of a play here while I'm waiting for this to start. So I'd just like to say again, welcome. If this is the first time you've been on here, please jump on and say hello and let me know where you're from. It's really great seeing where people are coming from. If you want to purchase any of the products that I have here today, you can do that on michelledutrissa.stampinup.net, which is my online store. But I'll give you more details on that at the end of the video. Let me just flip my camera over and I'm going to show you what we're going to get started with and hopefully have a little bit of fun today. I've got a couple of different options that I'm playing with, and it's always great to get your feedback on what you think. Okay, so let me just bring my camera back into view. And let me bring up the desk. Here we go. So I'm playing with this beautiful paper, and this is called Perfectly Penciled. Okay, it's a black and white range of paper. You've got sheets that have got flowers all over it, and then the reverse side is these lovely geometric type shapes. So what I'm doing is I'm playing with that, but I'm also playing with a new product. So I don't want to dwell on this too much. This is just one thing that I've pulled out. And the other product that I've got here is the Elegant Borders dies. Now, you won't find this in our catalogue. This is a very new product that Stampin' Up have just brought out. And let me just show you what we've got. So let me just move that out of the road and my playing and everything out of the road. And this is it here. Now, just let me grab some basic white or something that I can pop underneath. There you go, so you can see these. Now, these are part of a range of items that Stampin' Up have brought out, and they're an exclusive line, and you'll find them on our online store. They won't be in any catalogue. We're not even quite sure at the moment how long they're going to be around for. We know they're going to be around for a little while, and some of these products they may reorder when they get low in stock, and some of them they may just delete out at some stage. But the one I wanted to show you today, at the moment they've got about probably about 5 or 6 different products up there. You'll also find 2 at the moment. Hi Deborah, how are you? It's great to have you with us. You'll also find some of our round punches have come back again. Fortunately, I got rid of mine, so I'm going to have to repurchase those. Yep. So there's some of those. There's another one which is a rhino and some backgrounds. Really fun designs. And there's also a suite which I did a card for, I think week before. And while I'm talking about last week, I'm really sorry that I had to at the last minute cancel my live for last week, but unfortunately we had a very sad event happen in my family, and I just didn't think that I could continue on. You would have had me in a mess, maybe on the ground or on my table. But anyway, that's we're now sort of going past that, and so today we're going to continue on as per normal. But this is one of these products that they've brought out in this exclusive range. And as I said, it's called the Elegant Borders dies. And if we look at them, I've die cut them here out on my gorgeous grape cardstock. But one side of them is cut. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. So this one here is cut through there. This one here along that edge. This one along that edge. And then this one here just along this edge here. So when we create a card, we can have one edge of our card with a beautiful decorative edge on it. And I've already started playing with this one here. And as you can see, if I pop that into there, I've done a decorative edge on that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So just let me move some of my playing out of the road, and this is one that didn't work, so we don't need that, and I'll show you how we can do it so it does work. So what I've done is I'm actually using my thick cardstock here. And at the moment, I've actually set up my dies on all 4 of them, because I thought what we'd do is I'd try to cut all of these out and see how we all go. We've already seen that one, and we're going to be making a card with this particular one, so we'll come back to that in a minute. So we're going to die cut each one of these out. So you need your big cut and emboss machine to do this. So I've got that here. Hi Marie, how are you? I'm glad you're able to join us. Thank you very much, Marie. It was a little bit of a sad week last week. I mean, it's not going to improve. It wasn't actually, it was my sister who had some sadness in her family, but it was just a case of, had to be around to support my family and support my sister. So anyway, let's just move on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this through and die cut it. And I want to put this at a slight angle. I don't know whether you can actually see this, but it's going to go in there at a slight angle, but we only want to cut, we're only going to take the rollers to about there. So that's why I'm putting it onto the back of my cutting machine, because if we're not careful, what we do end up with a mangled edge like this here. I rolled that in too far, but we would want to have this at an angle, so then our machine actually rolls over the whole lot easily. Okay, well, I've got a Facebook user here from Victoria, first time watcher. Thank you. Next time when you pop on, please give permissions to StreamYards to pop your name up there so I know who you are. It's always great to saying actually hello to a person. So I'm just popping this at an angle. It works much better, but got to be careful how far I'm taking this through. And that's going to take that through a little bit too much of an angle. And we're just going to go through, just keeping an eye on this edge over here. Oh, it's a bit tight. Let me just, sorry, I'm just going to have to move this a little bit this way. My machine is just going, I don't like this. It is just a little bit too tight. But if we just hold this and hear that clunk, there we go. Doesn't mean your machine's broken. It just means I've gone over that die and I'm just going to come back. So now if I take that out, check the back of it. I'm actually going to take that through again if I can, because it hasn't cut all the way through. Making sure again I'm popping everything onto a little bit of an angle, but not my plates, just that bit of cardstock. So I'm going to run that through again. Go over it again. It's the beauty of actually using a bit of post-it note tape or something like that to hold it down. You can always come back and check, and it's still just not cutting quite the way I'd like it. So just bear with me. Whoops, just too much of an angle. I only want to have this really at a very slight angle. Just putting that through a few times. Sometimes these machines are all calibrated a little bit differently, and I think that's cut through well then. So that's that one cut through, and we're going to got a little bit of mangle there, but we can maybe trim that off and make that card slightly narrower. So now I'm going to grab another one, and we're just going to keep going here and just do a few of these just to see how they're all going to go, because the ones on the Gorgeous Grape were just a sample one and I didn't have to do them at an angle. So again, it's just slightly at an angle. I mean really, really slightly. Sorry, you've only got my hand there. I'm going to take that out again, run it through again, just to make sure that we're really well and truly cut nicely. Let's have a look at that one. No, not quite there. Fortunately, might need new plates. Just not quite cutting through. Yeah, it's still not, and I think this is just because it does like to go through. I'm going to see if this makes any difference. That one's better. Okay, so there's 2 done. Let's do this one again, just taking it at a slight angle. Now I have moved these probably about anything from half an inch to an inch from the edge of my paper, just so then I'm taking a step up. I want to take that 2 through. I had a little bit of a piece that shouldn't have been there. I've left a mark on my cardstock. Let's check the back of that one. Yes, that one's cut through beautifully, but that's a small one, so I wasn't expecting that one to be that hard. But as you can see, I've taken this up a little bit from the edge. So, and again, I'm going to pop that at an angle. No, I didn't try toning it over. Let's turn it over and see what happens when we cut it from the other way. But it's just getting that at a little bit of an angle so we don't damage our cardstock. Cutting it quite fine on this one. I'm going to actually straighten that up a little bit. How'd we go? Did we cut all the way through? I think we did. Okay. Oh, that was painful, wasn't it? But you only need to put them through a very, very slight angle. Because it's going over a short distance, you may not get an even pressure on them. And that's why they say to angle them slightly, just to give them that little bit extra even pressure all over, rather than just being a thin piece. I mean, ideally, you'd want to send that through that way, going through your machine. But we're wanting to send it this way. Now, as this is the width of our machine, we're just putting this at a very, very slight angle when we go through. So if I grab a plate so you can see what I mean, when I was putting that through the machine, I was just taking it through at the slightest angle. So you can see my paper here is going over the edge. And that's why I could only go a portion of the way through, because if I went too far in, this edge here would get caught and you'd end up with a piece like this, where this is all really mangled here on the side. So that was what I was playing with earlier. So that's what I was trying to do, and that's the reasons why I was trying to do it like that. Anyway, we're all done. So let's have a look and see what this all now looks like. And if we pop all that out, now I should have, I take a pick tool, should be here, and You love it. You put something away, you can never find it. That always happens to me. I keep telling my husband, go and have a girl look, not a boy look. Maybe I need to learn to do the same. Okay, let's just keep popping this out. It'll be here somewhere and it'll turn up because I know I only just used it a little while ago. What I can do, I've got the brush but without the handle. In some ways I've got a little bit more control without having the handle. There's that one. Isn't that beautiful? Put it against the black. You can really see that pop out. Okay, so that's that one. I'll clean those later. This is the one we're going to use today to make a card. And this has only just got a couple of little pieces. Very easy to pop out, that one. Hi, Glenda. How are you? Let's have a look at this one. Maybe that one there could have been cut a little bit more. So I might have to see if I thought that one was cut right through, but it didn't quite. So that's one I'm going to have to go at later on, but it is a pretty one. That's that one there. So I am going to have a bit of another play with that one later on and see if I can line that one up. Pop that one over there for later. That's okay. We'll just keep going. Let's see how we went with this one. And that one there didn't cut right through. I think Marie's trick of turning it upside down and running it through upside down might be the trick. So that one there, we could play with that one again and see if we can run it through. It's not the easiest job to reline this all back up, but hopefully I can line all of that back up there. And I'll try running that back through later on. But I just wanted to see wanted you to see what these would look like in once they're cut out. But we've got two here. So we've got this one here, which is the one we're going to use today to make a card. And then we've got this one here also. And I'm just going to grab my bone folder and just give that a really good press. Now, let me have a look, see if I've got some scraps here. Yep. So, isn't that stunning? It's just such a gorgeous, I think you would have to be interested in what I could put onto there to decorate it. Don't want anything too complicated because you're going to, this has got quite a bit of detail in it. But, you know, I was thinking that would look so nice with black piece underneath there. So that's what I'm playing with today is a little bit of black and white, and maybe something a little bit more upbeat. And that's why I thought I'd just use a simple one today. So I'm just going to use this simple edge. And when I came on, I was actually doing a little bit of colouring, a little bit of fun, because I'm not quite sure which one of these I like. So what I've done is I've used that black and white pencil paper, designer series paper I showed you before, and I've got two different colorways here. I've got one which is very soft and pastel, and then the other one I'm playing with is more sort of brighter. Which of those colors? So I might need your help to tell me which one that you think would look good. You flip yours over too, Linny. Yeah, I'm going to have to give that a try because I've never really had to do that. But then we haven't had real detailed dies for a long time. So it is a little while since I have used detailed dies. But anyway, in the pencil DSP, let me give you the proper name for it so we know, the perfectly penciled DSP. As I said, it has a geometric side to it on the other side. You've got floral on one side and a geometric on the other, and it's all black and white, so you can easily color it. So what I thought I'd use is the black and white stripe, because I just really love that stripe, and it's got a slightly more modern feel to it, but I thought it would go really well with this. If we're going to put that underneath that, still goes, but I think you're losing a lot of that decorative edge. So I'm just going to go with that because it still shows through. You still can see that edge there because it's got that really lovely little sweetheart shaping. And then I thought what I would do is actually die cut on this one as well. So let me just bring in my mini. Now, while I'm doing this, you guys have got to think. Now, I'm sort of thinking this might be a card that I send to somebody, and I've already stamped my sentiment, and it's thinking of you. Do I use the nice pastel colors, which I'm only using two colors, which are dark petal pink, and the other color is mint macaron, which is that one. Let me just bring that up a little bit closer so you can see it. I haven't finished coloring it yet. Or do I do something like that one, which is a lot brighter, which has got Granny Apple Green. It's got Daffodil Delight. So with Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, and then Flirty Flamingo. So they're the two colorways. Think about which one you like and let me know. And I'm just going to grab my mini die cut machine. I'm going to grab that die that I used before. It's in my little pile of mess over here. Linny, you like the bright one? Okay, someone put left one. Which was the left one, Betty? Okay, left this one here. You like the pastel one. Glenda, you like the brighter one. Yeah, the brighter. You like the brighter one, Betty? Okay, looks like the brighter one's going to win out at the moment. Just getting rid of these little bits of scraps that are caught up in the back of my die. Pop them all out. Plates. Don't want to lose that thinking of you. Pop that up there. That thinking of you I've just stamped in Memento, and I've fussy cut that out. Now I'm just going to pop this on here. I just want to make sure it's nice and even across. And this time, because I'm only just cutting a very thin piece, I can cut it straight up and down. Oh, which makes life so much easier. So it's getting nice even pressure all the way up. And I'm just going to take it back just to be on the safe side. Excuse me. Should see my desk at the moment. I have got mess everywhere. But then that's just the way I roll, especially these days. Okay. Lenny, I was meaning to ask you, you seeing the bushfire smoke from your way? Whoops, I have to go and pick that up out of my bin. Sorry, I just knocked something and it just fell straight into my garbage bin. So maybe that's where my take a pick tool's gone too. I have to check that before it goes out to the bin. Okay, so I've just given that a really nice little decorative edge. And what I want to do is pop that in there. So I've got a decorative edge on both sides. So when that card opens up, it's going to have that there, which means I've only got this area here to write, but that's all right. So let me just adhere that into there. You mixed up your rights and your lefts. Don't worry, I do that all the time. I can never get my lefts and the rights right way around. I've got to really think. I was told once it was because I never crawled as a baby. So I don't know whether that's right or wrong. Chiropractor told me that many years ago, that because if you don't crawl, you're not using your arms backwards and forwards like that. And I did bum crawl. I sat on my bottom and shuffled all the way around the house when I was a kid. So my mother tells me. And so this chiropractor was telling me that that was the reason why I get my lefts and my rights mixed up. No smoke there. Wind must be going, yeah. It's a long way from us too, but a lot of people around here in Mossvale were saying that they could see the smoke and it was being blown in this direction yesterday. I just haven't heard anything today. Okay, bushfires. Lovely. And right at the end of the season too, which is not good. Okay, I'm just going to give this a bit of a crease again just to make sure we've got a nice fold, because I am using the thick basic white cardstock. So there's our card and it's going to fold like that. Now, of course, you could even have this card going this way if you wanted to have it that way, but I'm actually going to have it as like a book fold. So we're going either this one or that one, and I think so far we're going the brighter one. It looks like everyone is saying the brighter one, which is good. So I'll pop that one aside for another card. So as I said, these are the colours I've chosen. And I'm just going to start off with my light ones. Now, I'm not being really fussy about colouring this in, just for the fact that with this designer series paper, Stampin' Up have already done all the shading and everything for us. So really, if you wanted to just use one, like instead of using light and dark, you could just get away with just using your light or your dark, whichever one you wanted to, because you've got shading all through this that they've done. And I'm just really just layering the colour on. Now, of course, you can come back in with your darker shade and just do a few loose lines. I'm also going to follow the line of the stems in the darker one. So I'm not being overly fussy because, I mean, it is a drawn picture, so it sort of doesn't have to be 100% perfect. And as I said, you could really just even just colour that and let that the lines and the shading and everything come through, and it does the shading for you. So this one here, I've got a leaf there. I think I've got a bit of a leaf there. Their leaves. It's a little bit hard trying to work out what are leaves and what are not leaves. There's a leaf there. I tend to, when I'm doing things like this with smaller images, I'm only just using the fine tip of my blender pen, because you don't really need to be using a lot of that. You know, you're not doing a huge amount of colouring, you're really just tipping it off. And of course, you should always go back. I always like to use my light colour first and then my dark colour to add my highlights, and then go back over my colour just to blend that out. So my light. So always, there are some people out there that say you go dark first and then light over the top. I always like to go my light and then go back in, put my dark, putting my highlights, and then go back in with my light over the top of that again, just to blend it all out. Now with this one, I'm just going to start with my light Daffodil Delight. And I'm really just more worried about those tips rather than the whole thing. And I've just found another leaf. I'll come back to that in a minute. Then I'm going to come in with my pink. And I'm adding my pink from going from my center out towards the tips. I'm going to come in with my dark daffodil and add my centers of my flowers. Then I want my dark Birdie Flamingo just to add again a little bit of colour just around that centre, just to define the difference between the centre of the flower and the yellow on the tips. And I think that could be enough for that one. I'm just going to do that leaf there. There's another little one just there. Now with these big ones here, I'm just adding colour. And I'm just adding it very quickly because, as I said, I don't really feel that we need to do a lot. And I'm just going from the outer edge in. I'm not worrying about the shading or anything like that for the moment. Now I'm going to get my lighter in the pinks and bring that colour out. So this time I'm going from the centre out and just going up into that yellow. So it's almost like a quick flicking rather than a colour. Like, you know, so spending time colouring in on one spot. I'm going to grab my dark one now, and I'm going to again go from that centre and flick it out. And I'm following the lines that Stampin' Up have really already given us. And as you can see, I'm just turning that around. Now I'm going to come back in with my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to come back in from the outside in. And just following those lines that Stampin' Up have already given us. And now I'm going to come back in with my light. So this time I'm going to go over it a bit and blend all those colours together. So now I'm blending that pink and those yellows all together, because I'm now actually taking my light Daffodil Delight from the center of my flower out. And I'm just going to add some dots in there to the center of my flower where my stamens are, and I'm going to add both those dots in both those colors. And this one here, I'm just going to add a little bit more, a smaller flower, so it can be brighter. And then we're going to start on this one. So we're going to start again, that lighter color, taking it from the outside in. What you can also do, which I haven't done on this one, is just where that petal is just folding over a little bit, just add a little bit more pink into there. Now this one again, going from that center out. Just doing like a flick. Just around those edges, just do that little bit more. Again, in with my darker one. My dark Daffodil Delight. I might just add a few spots in there while I'm at it. And again, go over the whole lot. Just bringing that colour out. Adding a few more little highlights in there. Now you do have to be careful when you're overlapping two colours, because what will happen is one colour, and it's actually the lighter colour that can be the more predominant, and it can push that darker colour away. So what happens is, here's a scrap of paper here. If I colour this in, that colour there, and then come in with my yellow, it not only just blends those colours away, but it pushes it away. It's sort of, the yellow will become a little bit more predominant. I want a little bit more pink, I think, in these. So I'm just going to come back in and just add a bit more of that pinker colour in there. Same with this one. Just want to add a bit more pink. Sometimes it's just a matter of just going over and just going over it a few times until you get what you're happy with. Okay. So there's that. I'm quite happy with that. And that's going to go on that edge. Now, this piece here is from, not from the center of a flower. I've been using up some of the edges around. So, hi Joan, how are you? So instead of with the, I've only got one piece of this design series paper left in this pattern. But I've been cutting, like, that's one side of my 12 by 12. That's the other side of my 12 by 12. I've been cutting out some of these edge pieces. You know, you've got your big flowers in the middle, But don't ever forget these little bits here on the edges, because you can use them, sorry, in cards. You know, some of these ones here could go on a little note card or something. So don't forget your edge pieces when you're cutting up your designer series paper. So that's going to go on there. So it's whether I might trim off a little bit more. Just the fact that I think it's just going too close to the edge. Just a bit concerned this bud here is coming very close to that. That's going to go there, and then my sentiment can go over the top like that. So let's pop this on. A bit of glue there. And of course, you could pop this up on dimensionals if you wanted to, but I want to put my sentiment up on dimensionals, so don't want to have too many different height levels. I am keeping this card fairly simple. Okay. Open that up, just give that a really good, make sure that glue is well and truly spread around. So that's that. Now, what I might do is grab my baker's twine. And I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to use the black or the white. So let's have a look. I don't want to have it this thick and heavy, so I'm going to just thin this out by just pulling it into some strips. So I'm just taking that and just pulling it in half. So if you split your threads, this will split into 4 or 5. I've got 2 threads here, and I think I've got 3, so it'll split into 5. And if I just hold it like that and pull and just let that detangle. So it's the same as if you're splitting stranded embroidery thread. And what you can do too is pull those 2 threads apart. And then bring them back together again. I'm just going to tie a bead bow. And I love how that just goes really whispery. So I'm going to pop that sentiment up onto some mini dimensionals. And again, I've just stamped this, and the stamps that I used for this is the Go-To Greetings, where you've got happy birthday, just a note, thank you, and thinking of you. And it's in 3 different fonts. So really nice stamp set. And as it says, it's some nice go-to sentiments there that you can, it covers nearly everything. And with the different types of fonts, then you can have something which is slightly more traditional, something that's slightly more modern. It's really all up to you. I'm just going to cut a little strip off here. So I want to make sure that I've got this all well supported. So I'm just going to open this up just to make it flat and easier to, thinking of popping that just around about there. Don't very often use black baker's twine, but I just thought it might be. And then that I want to go just like that. So let me just grab a glue dot. Going to curl that up into, got a glue dot there on the end of my scissors, and I've just made it into a little bit of a ball. And I'm going to pop that right there. Take the backs off my sentiment. Just line that up. Just make sure I've got that where I want it. Oops, must have missed taking the backing off one. No, just not wanting. I've got one over the knot, that's why. Sitting a little bit high in the middle there, and it's probably because that knot is right there. Bit of that. Now, if you wanted to, you could pull those apart a little bit just to give that look of a double bow. And again with these, we're just going to pull them apart. And there you go. So that's my card for today. Do just need to, because I've used the thick cardstock, it's just wanting to not quite fold nicely, but it will eventually. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Just a very, very simple card, using up some of the bits and pieces we have because we are getting towards the end of our current catalogue, and very soon a lot of these products will be gone. So, and we don't know what's going to go. Probably could have put my thinking of you a little bit straighter. It looks like it's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. Wondering whether I might even put a little bit of bling in there. Not quite sure what. Don't know whether it needs it. I'm not a blingy person, which I've said before. And I've only got a couple of little black ones there left. I think they're a little bit too big. Wrong colour. They're too big. Rustic metal could be nice. They're smaller. And the champagne ones. Let me see what else we got. No, that's about it. Don't know whether I need anything really. No, I think I might leave it. So, yeah, jump in, use up your scraps that you have left lying around, or bits and pieces that you have. I've now got a few other card bases there to work on, and hopefully I'll get them onto my blog in the next week or so. But really worthwhile purchasing these dies. But as I said, if you want to do it like I've done, make sure you put your die in, or your cardstock in with your die on it at a slight angle. Use the tip the other girls have given, turn it upside down. I think I might be trying that one from now on, and you might get a better cut. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me just pop up where you can purchase these products from, so just bear with me 1 second. So as you can see there, you can purchase these products from michellejutrissa.stampinup.net. Otherwise, you can go onto butterfliesandbows.com, and you'll also find a link there to my online store. You'll also find links on there for my tutorials. There's actually 2 there. I've got a link there for my free tutorials. There's only a few there. I haven't added any to that for a long time. But there's also a link there to the tutorials that you can purchase from my online store, which are mainly all bundles that I've done with different groups that I'm in. So have a look at those. There's some really fun 3D projects in some of those. So if you have any questions, please just ask. I hope you all have a lovely week. Take care, and we'll see you all next Friday. So let me just bring these comments back up again. There we go. I can see them all now. So have a lovely day, and thank you very much for joining us, Chris and Deborah, Lisa, Joan, Glenda, Betty, Marie. Who else we got on there? We've got Linny as well. So it's really great to have you all, and missed you all a lot last week, but great to have you all back here this week. So we'll see you next Friday for another card. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.